2 days earlier, a secret British research facility in Odessa was hit by a team of highly trained mercenaries. They stormed the building, killed every scientist inside, and stole a newly developed device known only as the Handle. According to British intelligence, the device was worth tens of billions of dollars. And now, every dangerous organization in the world wanted it. Arms dealers, drug cartels, private armies, and even foreign intelligence agencies were all searching for the Handle. With a global crisis approaching, the British government realized that ordinary agents would not be enough. They needed Orson Fortune. Orson was an elite mercenary spy who had worked with MI6 for years. He was highly skilled, dangerously experienced, and almost impossible to control. At the time, he was enjoying an expensive private vacation and had no interest in returning to work, but the government offered him enough money to change his mind. His mission was simple: find the Handle, recover it, and identify whoever was behind the theft. To support him, the agency assigned 2 operatives to his team. The first was J.J. Davies, a reliable field agent who could handle almost any situation. The second was Sarah Fidel, a brilliant hacker capable of breaking into even the most secure systems. Their first target was a middleman known as the Crocodile. Sarah tracked him to Madrid airport, where he was expected to arrive carrying a crucial encrypted hard drive. Orson and his team moved in, planning to grab him the moment he landed. But they were not the only ones waiting. Another heavily armed team had already infiltrated the airport. Within seconds, the carefully planned operation turned into complete chaos. Sarah tried to guide the team using the airport's surveillance cameras, but something was wrong. Her teammates had already moved, yet the screens still showed them standing in the same place. Someone had hacked into the system and replaced the live footage. Orson quickly realized they had been compromised. He changed the plan and headed toward the exit with JJ. Sarah warned him that 2 men were following him. Orson turned around and took them both down before they could react. But outside the terminal, Mike Hook's men reached the Crocodile first and dragged him away. Orson arrived moments later and managed to recover him. Unfortunately, the elderly courier was so terrified that he suffered a heart attack. As Mike's team closed in, Nathan Jasmine connected the courier's hard drive to a computer and began copying the files. Mike's men surrounded their vehicle and started cutting through the door with a power saw. Knowing he was dying, the courier told Nathan that the buyers had never seen his face. That meant Nathan could take his place at the meeting. He also begged Nathan to save his wife. She had been taken hostage, and that was the only reason he had agreed to work for them. Seconds later, the courier died. Just as Mike's men broke through the door, Sarah finished copying the encrypted drive. Nathan later went to the arranged meeting and successfully made contact with the buyer. Using facial recognition software, Sarah identified him as Ben Harris. Harris was the personal lawyer of Greg Simmonds, a notorious billionaire arms dealer. On the surface, Greg was charming, elegant, and incredibly wealthy. Behind closed doors, he made his fortune selling weapons and profiting from wars around the world. Getting close to a man like Greg would not be easy, but the team soon discovered one very useful weakness. Greg was obsessed with celebrities, and his favorite actor was Hollywood action star Danny Franchesco. That gave Orson an idea. Instead of breaking into Greg's organization, they would walk straight through the front door with Danny beside them. The only problem was convincing Danny to cooperate. Fortunately, Orson had leverage. Danny had been secretly sleeping with his sister-in-law, and the team had video evidence. If the scandal became public, his career would be finished. Orson boarded Danny's private jet, removed his assistant and manager, and explained the situation. Danny initially refused. Then Orson showed him the footage. A few minutes later, Danny agreed to help. The team soon arrived aboard Greg's enormous luxury yacht. The moment Greg saw Danny, he could barely contain his excitement. He was so distracted by his favorite movie star that he never questioned why Danny had suddenly appeared. While Danny kept Greg entertained, Orson noticed a familiar man among the guests. He had seen the same man at Madrid airport. Mike Hook's team was here too. The group quickly divided the work. Danny would keep Greg occupied, Sarah would hack Greg's phone, and Orson would deal with Mike's operative. Orson first tried bribing the man with an expensive watch, but when the operative demanded more, Orson simply knocked him out. Meanwhile, Sarah planted a listening device close enough to copy the information from Greg's phone. The mission was a success, but before they left, Greg unexpectedly invited Danny and his friends to spend the weekend at his villa in Turkey. After leaving the yacht, the team analyzed the stolen data. They discovered that a man named Alexander was selling the Handle. Greg was only the broker arranging the deal. The buyers appeared to be connected to Ukraine. To learn more, Orson infiltrated a Ukrainian villa using sleeping gas. He pumped it through the ventilation system and waited for the guards to pass out. Once the building was quiet, he walked into the bedroom, opened the safe, and infected a laptop with a computer virus. To hide the real purpose of the break-in, he also stole the jewelry and made everything look like an ordinary robbery. But 2 guards had avoided the gas. They confronted Orson outside the villa. Orson quickly took them down and escaped. After analyzing the infected laptop, Sarah identified the buyers as Trent and Arnold, 2 powerful figures in the biotech industry, but they still had no idea what the Handle actually did. The team decided to accept Greg's invitation and travel to his villa in Turkey. While Greg was away, Sarah accessed his computer. She found records showing that he had purchased a massive number of AK-47 rifles. But that made no sense. Even thousands of rifles were nowhere near worth tens tens of billions of dollars. With no clear answers on Greg's computer, Orson decided to follow Ben Harris. Harris's bodyguards quickly noticed him. Orson took them both down, but Harris ran. Surprisingly, the lawyer was much faster than he looked. He jumped onto a sightseeing elevator and disappeared. When Orson finally caught up, Harris attacked him from behind. Orson reacted instinctively and shoved him away. The push sent Harris falling from the elevator. He died instantly. Once again, the team had lost an important lead. But back at their base, JJ discovered something hidden inside Greg's purchase records. The list of AK-47 transactions was actually a code. It was the key needed to unlock the encrypted hard drive. Once the files were opened, the true power of the handle was finally revealed. It was a programmable artificial intelligence system capable of breaking into almost any digital network in the world. It could launch an attack, destroy its target, and then erase every trace of what had happened. In the wrong hands, it could bring down governments, financial systems, or entire countries. The only thing they still did not know was what Trent and Arnold planned to do with it. The files also revealed that the buyer and seller had confirmed the exchange through coded newspaper messages. Originally, Ben Harris was supposed to be collected by Alexander's men and taken to the meeting, but Harris was dead, so Orson decided to replace him. He would pretend to be Greg's lawyer and complete the exchange himself. The plan worked. Alexander's men had never met Harris, so they accepted Orson's identity and drove him to the meeting point. JJ followed from a distance and prepared his weapons in case anything went wrong. To authorize the deal, Orson had to call Greg and request a 15-digit security code. Using voice-changing technology, Sarah made Orson sound exactly like Harris. Greg believed the call and gave them the password. For a moment, everything appeared to be going perfectly. Then one of the guards recognized Orson from the Ukrainian villa. The man immediately exposed him and pulled a gun. At the same time, two helicopters appeared overhead. With Orson surrounded, JJ opened fire and killed the guard. The two agents fought their way out, grabbed the briefcase, and escaped by car, but they did not get far. Mike Hook's team blocked the road. The helicopters also belonged to Mike. Mike told Orson that he was taking control of the mission. Orson's team could go home. Outnumbered and surrounded, Orson had no choice but to watch as Mike took the handle. Back at Greg's villa, one of his men discovered evidence that Orson had used a voice changer. Greg realized he had been manipulated. Furious, he ordered his men to kill Sarah and Danny before they could escape. Meanwhile, Mike opened the briefcase and confirmed that the handle was real. But instead of delivering it, he betrayed Alexander's men and killed them. Mike was no longer working for anyone but himself. At the same time, Greg's gunmen chased Sarah and Danny through the mountains. Two vehicles followed them, firing non-stop. Danny may have been an actor, but behind the wheel, he was surprisingly talented. With Danny driving and Sarah shooting, they forced one of the pursuing cars off a cliff. Orson and JJ tracked Sarah's phone and flew ahead in a helicopter. They waited near the exit of a tunnel. The moment Danny's car came racing out, Orson fired a missile. The pursuing vehicle exploded into a ball of fire. Mike had now gone completely rogue, and the handle was most likely on its way to the real buyers. With no time left, Orson's team confronted Greg directly. After some forceful persuasion, Greg finally revealed the buyer's plan. Trent and Arnold wanted to use the handle to destroy the global banking system. If the banks collapsed, the price of gold would skyrocket. And because they had already purchased enormous amounts of gold, they would make billions from the chaos. To carry out the plan, they had hired a private tactical unit. That unit was Mike Hook's team. That night, Orson and JJ infiltrated the buyer's compound. Working together, they quietly eliminated the guards around the perimeter and made their way inside. At the same time, Greg arrived with Danny. He had come to collect the commission he was owed for arranging the sale. But Trent and Arnold refused to pay him. They claimed that Mike had recovered the handle, so Greg no longer deserved anything. Greg did not argue. Instead, he launched several small missiles and destroyed all 6 of their satellite receivers. He then warned them that unless they transferred his money, their families would suffer the same fate. After delivering the threat, Greg calmly walked away. The missile strike terrified Trent and Arnold. They wanted to pay Greg immediately, but Mike insisted that Greg was bluffing. The argument became increasingly heated. Then Mike's hacker announced that he had gained control of Trent and Arnold's bank accounts. At that point, the two buyers were no longer useful. Mike ordered his men to kill them. Gunfire erupted inside the compound. In the cramped room, both sides opened fire on each other. Within minutes, almost everyone was dead. By the time Orson arrived, the floor was covered with bodies. The handle was sitting in the middle of the room. Orson walked over and picked it up. Then Sarah warned him that someone was behind him. It was Mike. The two men fought, but Mike was no match for Orson. Orson quickly put him down. When Mike reached for a gun, Orson finished the fight with one final blow. With Mike defeated, Orson carried the handle outside. Sarah and JJ were already waiting for him. The three looked at each other and smiled. The handle had been recovered. The buyers were dead, and the mission was finally complete.